I'm Ron Bro, CEO of TopStep. Welcome to our latest webinar, Quote Builder for SuiteProjects Pro. So why and what are we doing here at TopStep? Well, we work with lots of customers implementing SuiteProjects Pro or optimizing it, and we are consistently hearing the quoting issues with our customers, that they want better ways to quote, they want better ways to be more efficient. They want to be able to have more visibility and approval capabilities within their quoting engine, and they want to avoid manual spreadsheets and duplicative work. This has been a consistent message we hear from clients, and unfortunately, we haven't had a way to solve for this until now. However, some of this is selfish. As a service organization, TopStep uses SPP as well, but I do a lot of our quoting, and was doing it in spreadsheets as well. So, this creates silos. It creates duplicative work, trying to sync data from spreadsheets into SPP. Anything manual is subject to human error and rework. And then there was no visibility or standardized process for growing our service and our service business. So we decided we were going to come up with a solution for this that we feel like TopStep will greatly benefit from, but as well as our customers. So what was our goals for this effort? Well, we wanted to build a quoting tool that integrated with SPP. We wanted to get rid of the duplicative back and forth between the quoting spreadsheets or CRMs and the SPP data. We wanted to allow multi-approval workflows. So we wanted visibility to the quoting process that's not siloed and it's more controlled. We wanted to eliminate the double entry of inefficient and manual errors of taking data and entering into the system, putting incorrect bill rates, incorrect hours, etc. And we wanted that to be seamless by syncing the quote data seamlessly into SPP so that we could become efficient and have great visibility. And lastly, putting together contracts and SOWs from the data, also very manual and subject to error. We wanted to solve for that. So with those goals for this add-on product, we came up with QuoteBuilder for SuiteProjects Pro. So let's take a look. So this is the login page for QuoteBuilder. I'm logging in using my credentials for my SPP environment. So it uses the same login credentials that you have. When you first log in, it's going to sync all the data. So making sure the data is synced between SPP and the quote building tool. Now, what is it doing? So the way that TopStep works is we use a CRM on the front end, and at a certain point in the sales process, those opportunities through a point-to-point integration with SPP create projects. And when those projects get created, they fall into a qualification stage in our SPP environment. And that's the idea that now it's time to put the more quote together, to put a quote together. So what this is doing is this tool is syncing with the projects inside of our production environment and are syncing all projects in our qualification stage. So you can see QuoteBuilder Tasks 2 and 3 are two of the projects that are available for us to work on from a quote building perspective. So let's take a look at the quote building tool. So if we drill down into this project, if you are using templates in the project creation process, then you will inherit what the templates were when the project was created. And from there, you can update, add, or start over if you like. If you're not using templates and you're bringing over shells into SPP, then you can just bring the shell in and then you can go in and add the details around your project. So for us, we have templates for all the different types of services that TopStep provides. For example, here, the template that I was using on this particular project is our standard deployment template. It's got phases and tasks, it's got assignees, and it starts with a budgeted hours from the template. From there, I can select if I want to add any additional services, say if we wanted to also be implementing NetSuite in addition to SuiteProjects Pro, or if I wanted to add any scripting or integrations, I can come in here and select another template and be able to add that into the project plan. From here, I can go in and I can start adjusting hours based on conversations I've had with the customer. So if I know how many hours I expect to work, it will then start to sum up the hours here. You can see we're at 265 hours. And using this default rate that's coming through, we're at just under 60,000 for the implementation. Well, let's say they want to add an integration, and I'm going to go ahead and just add an integration. So I can come in here and say, let's say we want an integration with CRM, and I'm going to put that into my scripting phase, and I'm going to go ahead and assign a technical consultant for SPP. So now I've got my integration. Now I can say, okay, we've got a 40-hour add to this project, and now it's summing up my hours. You can also see cost and also see profitability if you're looking to get some sort of profitability. I'm going to go ahead and save. Now these actions drop down allow me I can export this data into Excel. I can also create a new version. So if you have multiple versions, you want to start over, maybe a customer says, I want to see a T&M versus fixed fee. So you can come in and have different versions. We also will talk about a little bit of approval processes that we have as well. Now that I'm happy with my hours, I'm happy with the resourcing, and I want to go in and adjust my rate because this is a customer that we've done a lot of work with and we want to give them a little bit of a better rate. So now I click into my pricing module. And here I can come in and I can do a few things. I can come in and choose a rate card. So let's say we're going to discount them to 215. So I can come in here and choose my rate card, which will then change my hourly rates for my resources at this rate. You could also manually adjust these rates if need be. You can also manually adjust the margins. So if you're trying to back into a margin, you can do that as well. Again, if I'm happy with where I'm at, it's giving me a reduced rate and a margin percentage of 44%. I can go in and say save. Okay. I mentioned being able to submit for approval. How does that work? Well, inside of the project, in our project approval section, we have a project approval process for our QuoteBuilder tool. And so we typically are using one project approval, and the project approval is using additional approvers in the project approval. So in this scenario, I can go in and set the approver here. I can set 2 at this point. You can set up to 3. That would be then part of the approval process when I go ahead and submit this. I'm going to come in here and submit this for approval. I can add notes. If I wanted to give someone a summary of any of the sales information that happened, hit save. So you can see here we have we've been doing a lot of testing with this one, but you can see here, you can see a log of the approval workflow and see that it was submitted. And then I just got an email to approve it in my email. So I can now go in here and review the quote, and I can then go ahead and sync. Actually, the right one. Yeah. So I can go in and approve it, and then it can go, now I'm ready to do a few things. I want to start my booking process of booking my resources. So under the schedule here, at any time I can do this, it's going to give me a list of the types of resources that I want. And from here, because it's waiting approval, I can't do anything, but I can come in here and go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and reject it, or I'm going to go ahead and withdraw submission. And from now, I can go in and update my start and end dates for my resources. At any point in time, I can push this data. Let me go ahead and go into my configure. At any point in time, I can sync this data to SPP. So if I go back into SPP and I go back into my project center, you can see the 259 hours that are planned. I can see the project plan here with the detail. I can also see the bookings for the resources, booked tentatively for the hours and over the time period that I put in for the dates. Once this is approved, and now I want to go ahead and generate the customer SOW from the data in here, I can click on the quote tab. I'm going to go ahead and create my SPP deployment doc. Now it's going to create a Word document from the data in the quote. So it's going to highlight some options that I need to make sure that I'm updating. It's going to add the client information. And if it has the address information, it'll add the address information. It's pulling all the data from SPP that we have in the system. It's bringing in my template, my standard language around our SOW. It's also highlighting some few other options that we need to make sure are valid. It's pulling in the rate that we put in the system, and it's also bringing in the table. So here it's summarizing the details from the quote and putting it in a table inside of SOW. From here, I can make my update changes and then send this off to my customer and be able to then get a approval. And then from there, we execute contracts and we can get the project started. Let me go ahead and pull up a approved quote for another project. I have one here. So once it's approved, you have the ability to unapprove it if you needed to. You can also finalize the proposal. So what does that mean? I have the ability then to go ahead and do another sync to update the work breakdown structure to match the proposal. I can update the budget to match the proposal. I can also sync the task assignments from the generic resources. I can sync the bookings. I can also create an additional set of billing rules. So it'll actually create billing rules using the bill rate in the proposal. And then when I mentioned earlier, our projects are coming into qualification. So once this project now gets finalized, it moves out of qualification and moves into whatever the stage that you want it to go from that view. So then by saving this, it will update the project and move it. I'm not going to save this, but it'll move it into the next stage and add and sync all the data between the two systems. So that's our QuoteBuilder tool. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover today. Does anybody have any questions? One of the question is on the bookings, is there a way to put a duration and an allocation percentage into the system and have it calculate? That's a good question. We don't have that in today. but we will take that under advisement. Today, it's adding the bookings and just spreading them. Typically, what we're expecting to see is, you once the project is getting more firmed up, people will go in and start to update those bookings inside of the project center and SPP, smooth out the hours, and then start to swap resources. So we're not trying to create a resource management solution here. We're just giving you kind of the resourcing uh, startings of resourcing so that someone can then go into the system and start to fine tune those. Any other questions? Are you able to identify when a project can start based on upon existing bookings of active projects? Um, yes, but not in the quote builder tool. That's not part of the tool. There's other reporting and other alerts that and views inside of SPP where you can align the start of bookings with the start date of projects, but not that's not what our tool is meant to do. This is brand new for us. The question is how many other clients besides ourselves are using it? Currently, there's only two that we're working with. We're hoping to add many more, but certainly early adoption would be part of this. Can you have multiple SOW templates when generating? Example, a T&M fixed fee. Yes, good question. So, what where this is pulling the different SOW options is we're uploading our contract templates into a workspace in SPP, and the tool is reading the workspace. And so it will give you a list of all the documents in that workspace, and then you can select from the document templates that are showing to create your contract. So yes, you would. I only have the one currently, but you could have multiple. How is this hosted and how does it integrate with our existing SPP environment? So it behind the scenes, we're hosting it on Amazon, and it's basically a platform with where we have scripts built in SPP that are pushing and pulling all this data to this view. So we would basically be installing a number of scripts in your SPP environment that are feeding this software solution that's hosted on Amazon. And then the scripts inside of SPP push and pull data into the tool. Yes, we just had our first successful SSO option. We were using Microsoft SSO, but yes, we're able to put this in SSO. Right now, we don't have fixed fee rules as part of the project creation process. The question is can we create fixed fee rules in addition to time and time rules? We currently do not have fixed fee rules. It's something that we could take under advisement should you find enough value here, but that's not currently part of the solution. Question is, how could a company become an early adopter? Well, feel free to reach out to myself and TopStep. We'd be happy to have a conversation and talk about how this could work for your organization. Milestone billing is part of the templates and quoting. We do have some fixed fee pieces in the system that did not demo today. I'm happy to have a follow-up conversation about what that looks like. That's a little bit challenging because every customer has kind of different ways they do it. But if you can imagine, the fixed fee billing milestones could be part of the templates that we use, and then you could then go ahead and sync that data back into the system. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can go to our website, hit us on LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn group for SPP users. Thanks, everybody, for joining today.